Yes. So which app are you looking at there, Ricky?
I'm playing around with this new golf app called Allsquare. Do you have an iPhone at home?
I do.
Well, then you should download this app and start using it because it's awesome.
I
Let me
never
see
go
here.
anywhere,
I'm on
so
my feed right now, just trying to see where. Oh well, Patrick just played the golf club Grand Ducal. Oh, speaking of Patrick, and speaking of Allsquare, he's here. We are going to spend the next half an hour learning about Allsquare. I am pumped about this because this is a new app that I've been just using, and I keep sending him ideas too of how to make it better. So hopefully some of the things that I've requested will be implemented into the app, but we're going to talk all about that today. Jason is not with us. His wife had surgery yesterday, and he's running to the pharmacy and playing doctor today. So Jason won't be with us. So it'll just be the three of us, but I've got plenty of questions for Patrick, and I'm going to let Patrick take a couple of minutes to introduce himself, tell us what Allsquare is, and welcome to the Friday Foursome, Patrick.
Hello, Ricky. Hi, Les. I'm glad to be with you today. I think I've been waiting for this moment for 7 months now because I know it's pretty busy.
It has
And,
been. You've been on the wait list.
we scheduled this date already 7 months in advance, which is pretty amazing. So here I am today. And so I'm Luxembourgish. So for those in America who don't know where Luxembourg is, it's a little country in between France, Germany, and Belgium. And so we're 550,000 inhabitants. And so I grew up in Luxembourg, and then I went to study in Switzerland, and then in London. And then I started working in private banking at Credit Suisse in Geneva. And as I am a passionate golfer, I represented my country in several European championship and international tournaments, and I was national golf champion of my country twice in a row. I decided to follow my passion for golf, and so I founded my own company at the age of 26, and the name of the company is called Allsquare. Why Allsquare? Simply because we felt that it was an appealing name. It's pretty modern. It relates to golfers, and it speaks for itself. So it's really getting all the golfers in one place and all at the same level.
That's funny because one of my questions was where the name came from, and I never knew where the name came from. So not only did you answer one of my questions, that I never even thought about it being related to golf. Because I mean, there's so many things out there with Square and Foursquare and all these different things. That Square is kind of a popular term right now, but that's really cool. Did you have a lot of ideas of what you wanted to call it, or did Allsquare always?
My business partner is Swiss, and so we were brainstorming a lot because when you're looking for a name for a company. But it's nice to have ideas, but then you need to find a domain name that is available, and you also need to see if the trademark can be applied worldwide. And so these were two concerns that we had. And actually, I got the domain name. It was already taken, but I actually sent an email to the owner of the domain name, and she was a woman in New York, actually. And so I asked her, like, is the domain for sale? And she said, yes, it is. What are you willing to pay for it? And usually when you have domain names that are free, they cost like $9.99. And so I told her I'm willing to pay $11 for it. And she said, like, no way I'm going to give it up for $11. So I told her, so what do you want for it? And she said $140, and that's how we bought it. So it was pretty cheap for us to get the URL. And also my business partner was Swiss national champion, and we ended up in the same master in finance in Switzerland. And so all our friends were saying, well, both of you are great golfers. You should go and play a game against each other one day. And so we ended up playing 9 holes, the match play, and we ended up Allsquare. And actually, it was funny because when we became business partners, the 2 first matches we had against each other, we finished Allsquare as well, as if it was a curse, you know. I was 2 up, and then he wins the 17th and the 18th, and then the following time, he was 2 up, and I win the 2 next. So like if it was in our heads, you know.
That's awesome. Wow.
That's funny.
So cool. Well, whenever you come back to Scottsdale, because you've been to Scottsdale a few times, how many strokes are you going to give me? Because I didn't realize that you had all of that clout behind you, man. I need like 10 strokes.
You know, Ricky, if you need shots, you just tell me how many you want, you know?
Les, you haven't downloaded the app. Are you going to download the app now? Or maybe you did download it, actually. I didn't even ask you if you had a chance to download it.
Don't bother me right now. That's what I'm doing.
That's funny. So tell me, business partner. Who is your business partner? And tell me about your relationship and how you decided to go down the path to to making all square golf?
So, as two young and passionate golfers, um, we came up with, actually we felt that the golf market was massively fragmented. Today, if you want to get information about golf, you have to navigate on different websites, and every golf club has its own website. Golfers are on Facebook, they're on Twitter, now they're shifting to Instagram, and we both felt that golf actually was very social, maybe the number one sport for networking. And as two young and passionate golfers, we really felt that there was no reference platforms connecting all these golfers at one place. And as we traveled a lot, we met a lot of interesting people. We were both part of clubs, and we just felt that there was no easy way of communicating with golfers around the world, and really on a platform dedicated to golfers only. Because Facebook, 80% of my friends don't really care about golf, so sometimes you have this shame of telling them that you're playing a lot. And on the other hand, it's related to family, to close friends. You see relationship statuses, and so what we wanted is really a platform that would allow golfers, passionate golfers, to engage on a higher level.
Very cool. Well, Les, stop downloading the app and ask your first question.
Well, I had forgotten my Apple ID, but I went and looked that up, and everything works better when you got your ID. I was looking at your website because I really didn't know that you had an app, and I was wondering. It says beta on your site,
Yes.
and is it up and functional, or is it just? Or are you
No,
still?
it is functional. For us, what we followed was some advice of the CEO of LinkedIn. He said, if you're not ashamed of your product when you've launched it too late. So people think that once they go online, they're going to get visibility all over the world, and that's something you really have to work hard for. And so we launched the platform. We started building communities in Luxembourg and in Switzerland, where we knew many golfers already. And that was really the first feedback we got to get the platform running, and also to kind of track and develop all the way long. And so we weren't able to actually, at the beginning, we wanted to keep enough shares in the company, so we didn't do a huge fundraising, which would dilute our sales, but we really tried to function with a minimum viable product, which today is a beta version, and track and develop it until we find the final version that we really like, and that's the one we're going to launch globally.
So just so I understand, the app is actually the bread and butter of your company. The website is just accompanying that.
Absolutely. So
okay.
What we like to say actually is that one you really use when you're on the course, but more than using it on the course, because you have so many apps that allow you to track your stats and to do GPS, etc. What we wanted to do is really be an extension of the clubhouse. So AllSquare is not an app that you use on the course. You might take some pictures and have them in your library, but you will upload them after the round. And what we've noticed is that golf is often related to as yoga. People are always connected all day long. They're at the office. They chat with their friends. And once they get on a golf course, usually they just want to forget about technology. And I think this is something that is very important in the way we approach the golf market, simply by being an extension of the clubhouse. So an app you use prior to your round to find golfers you want to play with, to discover new courses, to search for the best courses around you, and also to actually use the app after your round, where you would upload pictures, tell your friends where you've been, check in to places, review courses, and keep in touch with the people you've just played with.
Great.
So I'm not going to say this because I'm wearing a Troon Golf shirt and I work for Troon Golf, but you have a great relationship with Troon Golf. So tell me about how that got started and what that relationship looks like both internationally and here in the United States.
Absolutely. So it all started in June of last year. We were a startup, we're still a startup, and with very limited budget. And we thought, well, there's this KPMG Golf Business Forum that attracts all the leaders of the golf industry into one place. And they were celebrating their 10th year in St. Andrews. So we thought about it twice because it was pretty expensive to go there. And finally, we made the choice, one of us is going to go. So I went there, and it was really a great event. You had 250 of the top leaders in the golf industry, and the first day I arrived, and I was sitting there for lunch with my iPad, and we didn't even have a website yet, not even an app, nothing. So I arrived, and I sat down in front of Don Riddell, who is the CNN World Sports commentator, and so I had lunch with him, and then he told me, so what are you doing here? What is your project all about? So I showed him actually all the PDFs of what we wanted to do. And he said, listen, Patrick, that's really amazing. I like entrepreneurs, and you seem to have a really nice project that has a lot of potential. And I am going to be the panelist and present commentator of the next panel, which will be talking about technologies and golf. And so there were 4 guys in the panel. One of them was the CEO of Troon, Mr. Germani. Then there was the vice president of SAP, which is a technology company. And there was, the third one was Colin Montgomery, and the fourth one was the director of IMG. And also Mark Player, actually, a fifth one. And so we started they started chatting, talking about golf and technologies, how technology would shape the game of golf. And then at the end of the panel, there were 250 people in the room, and I was just like, no one there. And suddenly you have Don Riddell, who says, well, I just met this young entrepreneur, Patrick, and he has a very interesting product that actually relates to what we've been talking to. And so he called me and he said, Patrick, would you like to stand up and tell us what you do? And so my heart started beating like crazy, and I really couldn't believe it. And so in 3 minutes, I gave a little pitch about our startup, and that's how really it started to give us traction in terms of partnership opportunities. And Troon was, I would say, Gary Player Group approached us, SAP approached us, Troon approached us, and the only one that were really proactive after approaching us and really pushing it till the end until we really signed the partnership agreement was Troon, because they even wanted to be our partner prior to launching the product in a beta version, which usually is difficult to get because you have a platform with many bugs, and they were willing to take that risk. And so we're very thankful to Troon. They gave us a lot of visibility in the US, but also internationally, due to their 240 resorts that they manage around the world. And it's been also great to be able to talk to Ricky, who is managing their social media, and to their marketing guys, but also to some of their top executives. So for us, it has been very valuable feedback, a good relationship that is just at the beginning, and that we're building together, trying to find the best practices to have a great platform that would not only be good for Troon and for ourselves, but really that would benefit the whole golf industry.
Well, I see that you know, you're from a part of the world where everybody's soccer crazy, and
you call it soccer, we call it football, you know.
Yeah, football, whatever, football, soccer. How does a person from that part of the world get interested in the golf industry?
Yeah, so you know, in the US you have 28 million golfers. In Europe we have 5.5 million. So it's like 1/6 of your golfers. And how do we get interested? You know, I think golf is just a great sport. You get addicted very quickly if you start playing, and that's how I got addicted. One of my best friends in high school, his family owned a golf course, so I started playing at the age of 11, and I got hooked up, and I'm the only one playing in my family. I have 2 brothers and a little sister, and I'm the only one playing, but I really got hooked up, and so that's how I started. I started playing every day, and managed to get to where I am today.
So the rest of your family probably does football and downhill skiing. Is that correct, or?
So we go skiing, but we don't do downhill skiing. We're just skiers, but not. We were not nuts. And
Okay.
Soccer, yes, we played soccer, but none of us. My elder brother played a lot of tennis, actually. He was thinking either to become a surgeon or to become a tennis professional, and that's how he turned out to be surgeon, you know. So,
and now
so
you
he's
can
a
play
my
tennis. So.
little sister, she's not very sporty, and my other brother, he tried everything but stopped very quickly as well. So he's more into music and other stuff.
Oh, all right.
So this is a two-part question. Now, you travel all over the place. I mean, you've already mentioned all of the different places you've been, and it makes it easy for you to travel, especially in Europe, because you're kind of right there in the heart of Europe. So out of all the countries you've been to, are there any that you haven't visited that you want to see? And then part two to that is, what is your favorite golf course outside of the United States?
Yeah, so it's a good question. There are like many countries I haven't seen yet. Australia, Japan, China, India, Sri Lanka, all these countries a little bit more far-fetched. And I'd love to go to Asia. First of all, just to understand their culture. I think it's a growing economy. They're actually the only ones growing their golf markets. The number of courses is increasing incredibly. In China, you can count one golf course built every week for the past 8 years.
Wow.
So clearly in terms of business, but also in terms of culture, and that's just a country I would love to see. Also, the landscapes are beautiful. And Australia and New Zealand are certainly countries I'd love to go to. Apparently, there are superb golf courses in New Zealand and Australia, some parts of there too. And then, which golf course is my favorite? We're pretty spoiled with golf courses in Europe. We have very different types of golf courses. In the UK, they're like the most links courses. I think in the US there's only one actually, out of your 17,000 golf courses. But which one is my favorite? I would say it's difficult to say, but clearly one of my favorites is Kings Barnes, that I really love in Scotland.
Wow. Yeah.
Then maybe in I love PGA Catalunya as well. The stadium course is really a tough course, a great challenge. And then maybe in France, Golf National is a great course where they play the French Open. And yeah, there are many good, nice courses. You know, it's difficult to pick one. I think it's very difficult to say which one is your favorite because it will always depend on the weather. It will depend on your game, and also on the people you play with. So it's difficult. But I've played also many around Liverpool. You have like superb golf courses. I actually did a trip with my friends last year, and we played 4 open courses in 1 week. So we played Royal Birkdale, we played Lytham St. Ains, we played Royal Liverpool, and we played one last one, which was actually it wasn't an open course. It just was West Lancashire, which I really liked because it was very challenging.
Man, you were playing some awesome golf, that's for sure. So now, real quick before I let Les ask his next question, I didn't attempt to pronounce your last name when we got started, and I just realized when we were talking about all the places you've traveled, and before we did get started, you said that there are multiple ways to pronounce it. So why don't you pronounce it the correct way and not let me butcher it? So your last name.
In English, I like to be called Patrick Rahme. You know, in France it will be Patrick Rahme, and yeah, that's good for me.
All right. I still won't try to pronounce it. Now, Les, back to you.
Yeah. Actually, I would have answered this question myself if I had downloaded the app before I got online here. But is there a cost in joining your service?
No, there is no cost. We've been thinking hard about the business model because I think there are many apps out there, and there are not many apps making money. So for us, we have different stakeholders that are involved because what we're trying to do is really unify the golf market in one platform. So that includes associations, federations, golf clubs, and golfers. And we had to pick one of them as a first, let's say, test for our business model. And so for the moment, we can afford to be a free platform for everyone. But the first business model we're going to test is a dashboard that we're going to sell to golf clubs. And so that will allow golf clubs to manage their members, to create events, promote them, but also to promote trips to targeted audiences. So let's say, for instance, you're a golf club in Arizona. You're true north, and then you want to find out if any German golfers are willing to travel to Arizona and play their course. So you would target golfers in Germany that play an average green fee of, let's say, $140, $150, and that traveled regularly to the US. And so that will be a feature where you'll have to pay a flat fee to actually promote your trips to a targeted audience of golfers. And then also we have many reviews being written about golf courses in Europe. And if golf courses want to reply to these reviews, they will have to pay a fee as well. So we're currently thinking about the pricing model, but it should be around an average green fee price.
Oh, that's very cool. I was curious where, and I was almost thinking like the freemium model that has been pretty popular for apps, to where, like, I mean, it's free, you get to use it all you want, but then if you want to actually get further, like in games or what have you, you have to pay additional. So
we're testing. We have different alleys we want to go. But in the end, you know, you can do whatever assumptions you want in a business, but you have to test them. You have to see where's the value, where is it being created? Is it for golfers? Is it for event organizers? Is it for travel agencies, for associations or golf clubs? And we believe today that we have a real added value for golf clubs.
So this is I'm going to steal a little bit of Les's thunder, but not a whole bunch. I was curious because you are quite active with social media. So his question is, app and the website, but one, how are you promoting All Square Golf through social media? And then after you answer that, I'll let Les wrap up the social media question.
Yes, so how are we promoting? So far, we haven't spent a penny in marketing. We've really tried to create kind of a viral way of promoting the app. Word to mouth is really our main objective. So what we're trying to do, we've been to the Open Championship, we've been to several European tours, we've been to the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and we've approached golf players, so professional golf players. And our business cards are square, so it's like our logo. And so what
might have one.
Telling them, can you hold our cards? And we're going to promote our website with you actually supporting us. And that worked really, really well, you know. So we had Henrik Stenson, who is currently the world number 2 or 3, I believe. We had Justin Rose holding the card, Ernie Els, Victor Dubuisson, that is today well known in the US as well, as he's been really playing well, especially at the World Golf Championship, where he had these 2 incredible chips. And so we have a bunch of these top professional players that support us. And this week, actually, we're the sponsor of the European Amateur Championship. So it's pretty similar to the US Amateur. And the winner of the event gets an invite to the British Open. And so that was really successful for us. We have more than 130 top European amateur players on the platform. They used all the features, whether it's stating where they've played, filling out their what's in my bag, showing what equipment they're using, and also adding their friends and posting pictures during the event. And we've also been interviewing them, and that's been very successful for us. But we're trying to figure out what the best way is to kind of create a community, because in the end it's really about creating a community of passionate golfers that share the same passion as we all do. And that's, I would say, the tough part. But in the end, it's easier for golf than any other sport, because it's the #1 networking sport. You're part of a members club. You spend 5 hours with someone on the course, and you really share the same passion. If you put 3 or 4 golfers together for dinner, they'll be talking about their last shot, the courses they've played, and fooling around about the other guy's swing, etc. And that's really what we try to bring online. Really what golfers like, and instead of having it on 5 different platforms, we try to bring it all in one.
I didn't steal all your thunder, Les.
No, you didn't. My question started out to be, how does your site tie into the social media platform? But I noticed in trying to log into your site that it would take my Facebook account, but it didn't offer my Google Plus account or my Twitter
Yeah.
account or anything like that. And in your previous statement there, you said, where's the place to get the most people who are passionate about golf, and with over 12,000 members on the golf community here, it is absolutely the strongest that I've seen on the internet anywhere. So, are there plans to maybe include Google Plus in your sign-in?
I think, well, first of all, their API is pretty new, and so at the time when we we started with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. And what we've noticed is that actually very few people connect with Twitter, so we've removed it. Then we've noticed that LinkedIn was also a bit difficult to use because people were sharing too much information, their whole curriculum and resume. So Facebook was the one that was left, and certainly I believe that Google Plus will be a great addition to the APIs that we're going to use. But you know, we started small with a little budget, and we're both not IT guys, so we're really golfers and businessmen.
Yes.
And we've outsourced the whole platform, and that worked really well at the beginning. It really kept the costs very low. That's very important for a startup. You really have to manage your costs as efficiently as you can. Every penny spent must bring value to the company. And so we couldn't afford to have 4 developers or 5 developers on our payrolls, and so we kept on externalizing the whole development. And today we arrive at a point where it's just too slow, and that's why I am moving to San Francisco, and I'm going to build an IT team in Silicon Valley. We're currently closing an investment round. It's going to be Series A, so above $1 million, and it will allow us to really spend the money in a team, and we're really trying to hire the best people in IT, but also the best business developers, people who understand the game of golf, and who can bring us to the next level. So what we've been doing today is really trying to figure out, is there a market opportunity for us? Are partners like Troon, like IMG, like the Scottish Golf Union, like the Northern California Golf Association willing to support us? And all these assumptions have actually been validated. And now it's just about building a solid team and being able to execute properly and fast and track and develop so that we can become the #1 platform for golfers.
Wow, sold me.
Well, very good. I you know, as a golf writer, I find that Twitter isn't very good for golf, as good as maybe NASCAR was, but Google Plus is by far the best place with one audience in mind.
You can keep saying that, Les. I'm totally fine with that.
Well, I do Facebook, and Facebook is mostly my friends, friends and family. If I got friends that play golf, then they're going to be talking to me on there. But if I want to go someplace and talk about golf, I go to the golf community at Google Plus. That's where we can sit down and talk about golf, and we don't have to worry about 140 characters,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, I think what's the most important is really to see how high is the engagement. And on Facebook, I think the engagement is pretty high, but it's not very valuable engagement. Like the passionate golfers, they don't really want to share their real, I'd say, passion for golf. It's just about criticizing Tiger Woods. He's a hooker. He's doing, But for us, I think Twitter is just instant messaging. There's no way. Twitter is just about annoying people and tagging them, and for me personally. And I would never share any golf story on Twitter because it's 140 characters. So there's no way I'm going to do it. And I agree, Google Plus is pretty close, but again, they're not willing to develop features that are really appropriate for golfers. So what you'll find is just a newsfeed. What we offer is a newsfeed. We offer a world map where you can see all the courses that have been where you've checked in. You have a ranking with your friends. You can compare the number of courses played, how many top 100 courses have you played, how many top 100 courses in a specific state. And also we have Rate My Swing, where you can upload your swing, get tips from friends. We have What's in My Bag, the big vision of what's in my bag is actually you, Les. I don't know what are you playing actually? What is your equipment?
Uh,
What's your driver?
I just recently went to Adam's Tight Lies with
Okay,
my
so
irons.
you're
My
playing.
driver's 25 years old, you know.
Okay, so what we're willing to do is, first of all, you would be having your profile of your golf equipment. We would know what is your driver, what is your putter, your wedges, your irons, and that's already very valuable data for golf equipment brands because they want to know who's playing what. How can we target people that are playing Titleist equipment, and that's very important for TaylorMade or for Callaway. Now,
Right.
what if people could go onto your profile and purchase your equipment directly, whether it's equipment you want to sell personally or whether it's linked to a third-party website that would allow you to buy the newest G30 driver that is being played by Bubba Watson, for instance. And it's really bringing golf to a whole new level of, first of all, purchasing behavior, but also of activity where you'd just be surrounded by golfers and no one else.
Right.
And that's why I agree with you. Google Plus is pretty close to it because they have their closed circles. But I believe it's not really appropriate for golfers yet. It's really, the engagement is pretty low. And it's struggling to get like the high engagement that a platform like Facebook gets or Twitter, but I think it's getting to there, and we're really trying to find new solutions to bring golf to the next social media. And what was interesting when we arrived in Silicon Valley, industry experts told us, listen guys, if it was 2 years prior to that, we wouldn't have spent a penny in your social network. But today we really believe in niche social networks. And I think we're really moving to these niche social networks. And who knows, if we can build the #1 golf community, and we're actually even bigger than the Google Plus community with 10,000 users. We have more than 10,000 users.
Wow.
We could actually be bought out by Google, and they would incorporate it in one of their circles. And these are things you can achieve in Silicon Valley by being surrounded by all these Google guys that give you advice, that give you tips, and they've done so far. So I think being in the right environment and building a platform designed by golfers for golfers is hopefully the next #1 platform for golfers.
Well, that sounds like a good game plan, man.
Yeah, it does, absolutely, and I'm excited to have been, I mean, just for the last handful of months being associated with it and involved with it in whatever capacity that I can be, and as you know, I'm always able and willing to provide my feedback, so if you ever need a beta tester for your
no, we still have a lot of work to do, but we're taking it all into account, and it's frustrating for us because today it's not going fast enough, but we're working on it. Today we have enough money to really bring our platform to the next level and satisfy all the needs of Ricky Putts.
That could be your next tagline right there. I'm almost on a bumper sticker.
Ricky Putts. That sounds like a good one.
I like that. Okay, so we are out of time for questions, but we can't leave without Jason's favorite section, the Back Nine. And I didn't mention that the Friday Foursome is powered by the Back Nine Network. Les is probably still wearing. You still have the tag on your hat, don't you, Les?
I do. And I still write for Pro Golf Now.
You do. I forgot that. I didn't introduce you, but everybody knows you though. Like you're a steady face here on the Friday Foursome. But all right, 9 rapid fire questions. Answer them as fast as I ask them. Are you ready?
I try to be, yes.
All right, here we go. What is your favorite country to visit?
I would say the U.S. and California. I really like it there.
What is your handicap?
My handicap is 0.8.
That is really good. I want 24 strokes. Have you ever had an ace?
Yes, I had one.
Nice.
Actually, I had 2. I also had an albatross, so that's what you call an ace on a par 5, right?
No. An albatross is a 2 on a par 5.
3 under.
Yeah, right. So did you have a hole in one on a par 4 or a 2 on a par 5?
I had a 2 on a par 5, yeah.
That is really good.
Wow.
Coffee or tea, and I think I know how you're going to answer this one.
Coffee.
Will Tiger break Jack's record?
I think so. He will.
Ooh, I like you more and more. Favorite PGA Tour major?
The Masters.
What is your home course?
Grand Ducal. It's a nice course in Luxembourg, a forest course.
we talked about what Les was playing. What driver is in your bag?
It's a Titleist D3.
Nice. And what is next for All Square Golf?
So we're currently targeting Scotland. We signed a partnership agreement with the Scottish Golf Union, and we're preparing a great marketing campaign for the Ryder Cup, where we are partnering up with Callaway, with Abacus, with hopefully Troon Golf. That's something I have to discuss with you, Ricky. And also we'll be offering during the whole months of September different prizes, drivers, trips to nice resorts, and really trying to kind of do our first marketing campaign for All Square. And I myself, I'll be moving to California, to San Francisco, and building the team there, and make sure that we are ready for the next season in the US.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know that it's a little bit later than here where you are, so whatever you're doing the rest of the evening, go out and apologize to your friends that are sitting downstairs waiting for you for us going over our time limit.
We're having a barbecue downstairs.
We'll go. But you're wearing a white shirt. You can't have
a barbecue in Arizona when I come and visit you guys.
We've got some good barbecue in Arizona. You mentioned True North, and he's got a smoker up at True North. The chef up there likes to smoke brisket and stuff, and we can show you some good barbecue here in Arizona.
I'm sure that he would.
Excellent.
Guys,
well, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your evening, and I'm going to end with the All Square card coming in right there. See that? You see that?
Yeah. And the website, by the way, is www.allsquaregolf.com, and we only have an iOS app, so iPhone app, but we're working on the Android app, so that's something that's going to be released, I'd say, at the end of this year.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. Les, thank you for joining us. Jason, I hope that you're
inviting me.
Absolutely.
And, have a nice day, actually.
All right, and you have a nice evening. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys.